And welcome back in to Drive Pink Stadium. Chris Whittingham here in the commentary booth as Inter Miami are about ready to resume action here at Drive Pink Stadium after a substantial lightning delay. We stopped play at around 8:55 Eastern Time, and now at a little after, actually quite a bit after 11 p.m., 11:20. We're due for kickoff at around 11:35 tonight. Inter Miami level with the Columbus Crew at 1, and after this lightning delay, these players now be put through their paces in the warm-up. It's been a long period for players to be static, to be up and moving, to figure out how exactly it is they're going to handle this situation. So we'll see how they approach the second 45 minutes. That man, Gonzalo Higuain, scoring to open the proceedings here at Drive Pink Stadium in the 25th minute of play. A great counterattack started by Robert Taylor and threaded through in towards Ari Lassiter. Played a nice pass in for Gonzalo Higuain, his first-time finish, giving Inter Miami the lead in the 25th minute. And then Columbus Crew responding with a nice move down the right side through Kevin Molino and Steven Moreira, who put the cross in. Cucho Hernandez with a header into the ground that would eventually give Columbus Crew that secondary goal that they needed. And Thomas Rongen, we're about ready to go now. We've been stood around trying to figure out what exactly it is we're going to do if this game was going to go ahead. But now we'll kick off in about 12 minutes' time. We see up on the clock right now. What do you think was going on downstairs with these two teams, trying to figure out exactly how they're going to handle this and how they're going to be fresh and fit and ready to go? We certainly hope for no injuries after the delay, but this has been a bit bonkers.
Well, we know there's a mandate that anything before 1 o'clock needs to be played. Now, I'm sure that in both camps there have been probably discussions to see if we maybe play this tomorrow and who would benefit from playing this second half tonight and who would benefit from playing tomorrow. And that's obviously the big question. Look behind us. Not too many fans left. So now it's really upon Inter Miami, the home team, that has to win and is drawn at the half for the next 45 minutes to find a way, first and foremost, to get emotionally again back in the game, physically, which they're doing right now. I'm sure they're going to be fine, and find a resolve within themselves to go after this Columbus team that is happy with 1 point, obviously. We'll continue to play some possession. We'll continue to probe at times, but we really have to assert ourselves better. And I think that subs on both sides, when this Caleb Porter goes to, let's lock this thing up, I think he'll be aggressive initially. We'll try to possess again as he did in the first half, but sooner or later, they're going to say we're going to lock this thing up. You've said that correctly, Chris. They're not very good at locking and winning games late. So might he alter his whole thing, his whole philosophy, and urge his team to continue to be on the front foot as well? The most important thing to me is when will Phil Neville, the longer it stays tied, obviously, go to his bench?
Yeah, and for me, the interesting thing is you're almost starting an entirely new game. And while there are a few fans who actually filed back into the stadium, it's still, for me, it's finding that impetus. It's finding the intensity to get back into the game. In some ways, to find it from within yourself, because normally you rely upon the supporters. The supporters bringing noise. Being at home obviously is of advantage. But tonight, when you've got a few, maybe a 1,000 fans that will stick around for this game, you've now got to kind of find it from within yourself. You have to find that ability to bring the intensity. Bring the game to your opponent, Chris, especially because right now the ball is sort of in Inter Miami's court. They have to make the game. Correct. They have to go get a goal. They have to go win.
Absolutely, and that favors, in my opinion, Miami. It's a tough one for Caleb Porter and Columbus to manage the next 45. How do you play for 45 minutes for a draw, which they are right now? That, to me, is harder in terms of concentration, discipline, and tactics than a team right now that's got nothing to lose and needs to take risk and has to be in the front foot, which they will, and understand the importance of this game, that 3 points is a must. And they've looked at the scores, Chris, and they got some favorable results, in particular with New England as well. A win, and Leo Campana, we see him right there, could play a huge role off the bench, obviously, for this team as well. But it is really the way we start with our same 11 in almost a new game, as you said, Chris, which is not easy physically or emotionally. But I think that Inter Miami has a plus that they can actually play with some risk Whereas Columbus is in between. Do we take risks? Are we not playing risk? And I've been there as a player. It's a very uncomfortable position to be in. Going against your nature a little bit to preserve a draw for 45 minutes. That's a tough one, and particularly against a team that knows, regardless if they're fans here, yes or no, that knows how to score goals late, and which is obviously our home team, Inter Miami.
Now, Thomas, you've been here before. You've played in lightning delays. You've coached through lightning delays. I'm sort of looking at the players in warm-ups going, how are they going to do this? Like, how do you find it within yourself physically to sort of, after having completely almost powered down after playing a really intense 45 minutes in heat and humidity, how do you find it within yourself to be fit again, to be ready to play again? What are the fears? What are the feelings going into this situation?
My most successful teams, Chris, that were in these situations were the teams that were extremely competitive in training by nature, that wanted to win 2v2 small-sided games, that wanted to win every game they played 6v6 to big goals and whatever. And that was DC United that won a championship where we, in RFK at times had a weather delay as well. But these guys within themselves had the natural kind of drive to compete at the highest level and compete like tough guys. I had teams that were a little soft, that didn't train hard, that played okay in games, but then with a delay like this, it was very hard for them to get back to that level where they were 3.5 hours ago.
Right. I mean, we last were playing at, 8:55?
So we'll find out how competitive this group has been in training. Because in training, Chris, without fans and without real encouragement of coaches throughout the training session, you got to find it within yourself still to drive for perfection, to still work hard, to still be a good teammate, to still win those little games. Because each and every day you win games that will translate in my opinion, in positive results during the real game, the 90 minutes. And my good teams, the 90 minutes those players said were the easiest games to play because our practice sessions were at times tougher than some of the games that we played in. And if Miami can find that, and Miami's trained well throughout, then I think this team could excel again in the second half. It might even, surprise us.
All right, if you're watching this one with us on the Inter Miami CF app, you can listen to the commentary of Andres Cordero, Ray Hudson, and Kalen Kyle. They will take you through the second 45 minutes. If you want to join us on the radio, we're live on 790 The Ticket and the Odyssey app if you want to listen to us on the radio. Chris Whittingham for Thomas Rongen will now rejoin the television broadcast with Andres Cordero, Ray Hudson, and Kalen Kyle.
Tremendous ball from Moreira, this one. It wasn't anything slap and hope and just into the area. He picks out Chucho Hernandez with pixel perfect perfection and a bit of a spirit crusher right before half time.